Hello, everybody. I just want to. Oh, whoa. My mic's up a little too high there. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing today? It's me, Aaron. I'm all alone. It's just me on Table Scraps today. Welcome to the Paper Dungeon Table Scraps. That's what this show is called. It's the stream that we have on Thursday where we talk about the stream that we had on Monday. We played Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, yes, the music. Yeah, the music's on. Is it too high? Hello! Sorry to be so loud there. Okay, good. Yeah, we played Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. That is our normal game that we play on Mondays. It's 7 p.m. CST. We are finally back with the main campaign. We had the first episode of Chapter 2 of Book 1. We're changing the name from campaign to book because it just makes sense. This past Monday, it was really fun. I'm super excited that we're back. Sorry for the incredibly long delay. Stuff was difficult to give it a very non-accurate definition. Yeah, I have some obligatory plugs because that's what we do here. First off, we have social medias. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Keep an eye on our TikTok. It's been a while since we have been on TikTok and uploading regularly. We will be starting back up again with that very soon. I know Lydia's super excited to be releasing those TikToks again. It's going to be great. Also, we have a Discord. If you're not in the Discord, why? It's great there. The people are super awesome. We have a channel just for food recipes. We have people setting up D&D games. We've got people just hanging out. We've got people talking in the voice chats. And sometimes we're there too. Sometimes I stream games and stuff. There's a high chance that I'm going to be streaming Metal Gear Solid Rising, I think. Is it Rising? I want to say Revengeance, but I don't think it is. Pretty soon, just because I love the Metal Gear games, and I don't have anywhere else to stream them because I don't have a way to do that on Twitch yet. So get in the Discord, be in there. Also, we have a website. Don't use the link that may show up in the chat because we still spelled dungeon wrong. And thanks, Grant, for misspelling dungeon. It's Dungeon. www.thepaperdungeon.com. That's our website. It has a merch store on it where you can buy cool merch with our logo on it and other such things. Speaking of merch, Lydia also sells merch. Lydia is one of our players, if you didn't already know. She's done all of our overlays, all of our art. She's really good, and you can buy stuff. So do that. Like, get it together. Those are the plugs that I can think of. Oh, she also does commissions, so you can order your own personal art and stuff from her, and you should do that. Lydia needs to pay rent. But yeah, big announcement. I'll be repeating this a couple of times throughout the 2 hours that I have here. So, as I said, Chapter 2 is up and running. We will be having a character one-shot for Abinthy Tripwitz, the character that I play in Chapter 2, following this stream. Probably, since this stream runs for 2 hours, we'll have a 15-minute break where I'll just put on the break screen. And then after that 15 minutes, DJ will be here and we will run a one-shot for the new character. And it's going to be awesome. So if you're here now, if you leave, come back for the one-shot afterwards, because I think it's going to be a blast. It's been a long time since I've had just a one-on-one D&D one-shot. It's going to be great. But yeah, if you can stick around, do stick around. Truth be told, I don't super have a whole lot of stuff to talk about today. Obviously, we have the if you leave, don't. We have the first episode that I can talk about. This past episode, paragraph 1 of Chapter 2. Oh, yes, Faye. So sorry about that. This will contain some spoilers. Yeah, we're back at it. Jeez, where do I even want to start with this? Well, I can tell you right now, there wasn't a whole lot of combat in episode 1. There was none, to be exact. Basically, it was, we're getting the band back together. We had, oh geez. Edward, Renaya, Leshka, who Drew was playing. Leshka is a character that we saw earlier in the campaign. But Cather's not around right now. That's kind of the, let's get the gang back together feel as we're going to go find Cather. We got to see a little bit of what the characters were doing in their spare time. Renaya, played by Lydia, was at the Scholar's Guide. Oh, shoot. Sorry, normally I have a guest. I should probably do that. Hold on, gang. Going live alerts. Goo. Good call. Bam. Send now. Nailed it. Thanks for the call out, Faye. Oh, geez. But yeah, Renaya, chilling at the Scholar's Guide, a big library in the middle of the desert. Hi, Handscape. How's it going? Just talking about episode 1. And she was researching some stuff that we frankly don't really know a whole lot about. She found a little scrap of paper. Yeah, so sorry, buddy, from the Discord. I completely forgot to send it in the going live. And thanks, Faye, for reminding me. Totally forgot. But yeah, Renaya discovered a scrap of paper that contained some ancient writing that she recognized, and went back to the Gambit's Keep, the building that Track requested be instructed in his notes. Jeez, why is my mic so up? Oh, shoot, I had to turn the volume up. I remember voice tests in the last episode. But yeah, went back to the Keep, where she was then eventually joined by Leshka. Leshka, of course, being Drew. Leshka went to the Keep following Renaya, attempting to find her, give her some information, and tell her that, yo, Cather's gone missing. He was seen with an autumn daughter, who is basically a red-haired elf. Hey, I'm sorry, Maz, alright? And I'm sorry that you have to do adult things. But... but yeah. Cather was last seen with an autumn daughter, venturing into the Feywild, to areas unknown, didn't know where he was, hadn't contacted him for the last several months, figured we should probably go and get him. They were then joined by my character, Abinthy Tripowitz, which, if you haven't seen, and I shall once again recount, there will be a character one-shot following Table Scraps today for Abinthy. It will take place probably around 3:45 p.m. CST. So once Table Scraps is done, we'll have a 15-minute break, and then one shot. Woo, DJ will be here. It'll be great. Abinthy was basically just like, hey, what are you guys doing in my building? He's acting as a sort of groundskeeper for Gambit's Keep. Pretty smart fella. Trying to help Renaya and Leshka. And then Edward shows up. Edward, who had been kind of attempting to corral some bandits that had been around Athala and Oclaron, dealing with the orcs and stuff, doing all that politician nonsense. He had some serious politician moments. Edward, of course, being played by Grant. Man, that kid. By kid, I mean Edward this time, not actually Grant, but he's such a politician. There's a couple moments where he was like, don't worry, this thing, we have it completely under control. We just want to make sure, calm down, sir, calm down. Like, it was very politician-y. Hello, Lydia. but yeah, and then Edward rejoins us at the keep because he's like, I just need a break. I just need a break. He's not getting a break. We're running him till he's ragged. That's what we're doing in our game next Monday. But yeah, they get together, talk a whole bunch, forget a whole bunch of information that they've been told, and try to convince Edward to go with them to a different plane of existence, mainly Sigil, the City of Doors, where they believe Cather currently is. I'm excited. I mean, obviously. I'm excited to play Dungeons & Dragons again with all my friends and not have to be the one DMing in a one-shot kind of situation. I'm super excited for that. I'm excited to play the character that I've got. I've got a whole bunch of stuff. I love that Edward is still Edward. He's a lot more mature now. He's a lot more, like, actually has a purpose and meaning, and is a lot more formal and purposeful about the things that he does. But he's still Edward, and I think that he's just, I don't want to go. I don't want to work. I just want a break. I just want a vacation. Stop trying to force me into life endangering situations. So I'm excited to force him into life endangering situations. I'm also excited to everyone has secrets now. Lydia, I'm looking at you. For those of you who didn't catch them, Lydia was dropping hints that of so many secrets for a straight 2 hours total in a 4-hour game. Was just Lydia being like, oh, this thing, and then everyone's just like, so you're just gonna play it like that, huh? That's just what you're gonna do. And like, wow, Lydia, punk, just the worst. But I'm excited. Everyone has new secrets to uncover, and some of them we know, some of them we don't know. Some of them Lydia has secrets that I would never even expect to be anything. And so I'm excited for just a fresh palette, just doing all sorts of things. I'm excited to have new ways to interact with players and characters. I think it's going to be a good old time. I am excited to see, with DJ implementing planar travel. I was definitely not expecting to go to Sigil. I love Sigil. I think it's a super awesome place. Now, do I know a whole lot about it? Yes and no. I know a lot of like things third hand about the world of Sigil, so I can only give you so much of information of what exactly Sigil is. But basically, it's like the truck stop of the galaxy, where you just got exits going all sorts of places, a whole bunch of doors, from anywhere and everywhere. It's super cool. So I'm excited to do some stuff. Our team comp has been drastically changed, so that's going to be a bit scary. Oh my goodness! So one of the things that I'm most excited for playing Aventhy is team fights. I pronounce it Sigil. Is it spelled S-I-G-I-L like the word sigil? Yes. Am I going to pronounce it like that? No. Because I would get him confused with the actual word sigil. Like, if someone has a sigil, I suppose that someone could be wearing a sigil from Sigil. But that's why I pronounce them differently. So truthfully, I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it until someone shows me a direct thing. And then even then, I still might pronounce it Sigil. And I'll just tell DJ, hey, make it canon that in your world it's pronounced Sigil. So yes, I call it Sigil. What are you gonna do about it, punk? But yeah, I'm excited to... team combat is going to be awesome. We haven't gotten to see that yet. It started off with a little bit of combat for Abinthy at the start that I was not prepared for. It's a terrifying... It was really scary, right? So, Chapter 2, I've got a different character than I had in Chapter 1. Everyone else in the group has these characters that they've kind of mapped out and labbed out for, like, how they speak, how they respond to certain things, what they like, what they don't like, for, like, 2 years. Almost, like, 3 years. And then I show up with this character that I've never played in this regard. I've never... Like, I don't know how they react to these people. I don't have a lot of practice slipping into the voice. Like, it takes me a little while to slip into the voice. Unlike with Tarak, where I could just show up and I just know how he sounds. And so I was introduced and I was like, oh, this is not how I expected to be introduced into the campaign. Ha! Oh, sweet, Maz, finally got her to start watching. This is a great time to start with the first episode of Chapter 2. That's one of the reasons we wanted to do it, is have a good starting point for new viewers that isn't quite so like, oh god, there's 70 episodes that I have to watch and all of them are at least 4 hours long. So I'm glad that she's enjoying. But yeah, it was taxing. I'm excited to figure everything out, and like, there's some really sick things that I can do with this character. For those of you who don't know, I'm playing a wizard this chapter, and specifically a wizard, a war mage wizard. I can never remember what it's called. That's like one of my favorite subclasses for wizard. Is the war one, and it's just super cool. I just think it's awesome. I love war magic, and so I'm excited to do some stuff. The math side with all the dice and the numbers, that's very much like one of my favorite things about Dungeons and Dragons. So this character is definitely capable of doing that and has a whole lot of things that they can do. And yeah, we'll get to look more into tailors, one of my favorite things that I've come up with for this world and this encounter, which is, I say come up with, it is very clearly stolen from Tinkers, from Patrick Rothfuss and the King Killer Chronicles, which if you haven't read, I will recommend until I die. So you can suffer too and finish the second book and be like, now where's the third one to finish off the trilogy? And then realize that it's been 11 years. And then you just get to sit and wait with bated breath for who knows how long. And I'm content with that. I'm okay with it. Let me tell you, Maz, wizards, are you a war wizard as well? Or are you're College of the Tome? Is it college? What are wizard subclasses called? Is it evocation? School. Is it schools? School of evocation, maybe? You're the... Oh, yes. The scribes. Man, this is the first time that I've, like, played a wizard in, like, years. So, some of the cool things. So, if you don't know, I wish that I could remember the classification of Magic the Gathering players. So if you've never played Magic or you're not super into it, there's different types of players for Magic the Gathering, and they're characterized by names. So, like, you may be a Timmy. If I remember correctly, Timmy just likes large creatures. So, like, haha, here's my massive 8'10" dinosaur. That's a Timmy. I'm the type of player who likes gimmicks. I love gimmicks, and let me tell you, this character has some gimmicks. One of my favorites that I have at the moment is the spell Contingency. That's an Aaron spell, if I've ever seen one. Contingency is a 6th level spell. Contingency is a 6th level spell that when you cast it, you can cast another spell as part of the casting effort of 5th level or lower, but it can only target yourself. So, take for example, I'm blanking. Healing Word. If for some reason you're a wizard that has Healing Word, you can cast Contingency, Healing Word, and set a, kind of like when you take a reaction, you can set a event to happen that would trigger it. The example used in the book is the spell Water Breathing, which the triggering effect is if I am completely submerged in a liquid, then Water Breathing is cast. And then Contingency lasts for 10 days, or until that effect happens. When the effect occurs, take, once again, completely submersed in water, the spell activates. It is not cast, it activates. So you can counter the Contingency if it is you are there when it is being cast, but you cannot counter the spell that occurs once the Contingency effect happens. So if someone's completely submerged in water and you're like, haha, counterspell, it doesn't do anything because it's it's already cast. But you can dispel magic the Contingency. The fact that I had to take like 4 minutes to explain Contingency is why it's such a me spell. I love this because it's not even that good, right? Like if you look through the wizard spell list to find spells that work with Contingency, there's really not a lot. And they're very situational. You're like, oh well, what about a teleport spell? What are you going to say? Does it have a, oh, when someone attacks me for the first time the spell Misty Step is cast. In what direction? For how far? What if you don't want that to happen? What if being attacked is an important thing that you need to have occur? It's such a difficult spell to work with. But I've come up with a couple of cool things. I've got some good plans for the long run of Wizard. I'm excited. I'm excited to do some cool stuff. It's going to be a blast. My AC is ridiculous. AC is just wilding out there tonight. And I'm excited to see what everyone can do. I got to work with Grant helping Edward be a functioning existence. And so I'm excited to see some of the things that Grant can do with Edward and the Eldritch Knight Bard combo. It's got lots of cool stuff going on. One of my favorite things, so a cool little thing that you'll get to, ooh, Lydia, if you're still here, this is another thing that you can work on this week. With the new chapter, everyone got to pick a very rare magic item. And so I don't want to fully tell everyone what all the cool stuff is, but I got to work with Grant and figure out like what he's looking for, what he kind of wants. And my favorite thing is we're talking about this magic item, and Grant sends me a message, and he goes, "What's the magic item that you can summon to your hand as a bonus action?" And I go, "Grant, you're an Eldritch Knight. That's literally the ability that you get as your Eldritch Knight. Like, that's the first ability you get." And he's like, "Oh, nice." And I've been telling him that he has this ability for like 6 months. Like every time I see him, I'm like, "Hey, don't forget, you can summon your weapon to your hand as a bonus action whenever you want. That's just a thing that you can do at any point in time. It's awesome." like, yeah, that's super awesome. Immediately forgets it the moment we're done talking. So yeah, we'll get to see Edward, and I know that Lydia has done some has some things planned with Renaya, other than just secrets. But a lot of secrets too. And then I don't even want to get started on Drew. Drew's just things banked up. Drew's pumping right now. As I mentioned earlier, our team comp is scary. Not in like, oh, those enemies are so in trouble, but like, for us, we are in danger. We've got a wizard, a sorcerer, a warlock / cleric, and a bard fighter, which means that our tank is Edward or me, because I have a very high armor class. So just to double check that everyone's got this here, our tank is either a wizard or a bard. That's concerning. If I would like to just point that out, that's scurry. But our damage is through the roof. We've got so much damage. We've got wizard spells. We've got sorcerer spells. We got Lydia out there with the pumping warlock spells. Edward, I don't want to spoil too much, but Edward has Fireball. That's a spell that Edward has obtained. We've got so much dice and so little health. So we're basically running we're just running a whole bunch of glass cannons and just throwing them at a stone wall, which isn't how a cannon is supposed to be used, but it may be surprisingly effective. But who knows? In the future, things may change, and I'm pumped. I'm just excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see what goes down. For those of you who are wondering, Lydia is currently building a shelf. We're planning to move into our new location in theoretically this weekend or around there. So it depends. Next Monday, we may be in a different place. We'll just have to wait and see. But that is why she is not currently on Table Scraps. Or maybe she just doesn't like me anymore, so. Lydia, you did decide to purchase a very confusing shelf. I looked at the picture on the box and went, I don't know how that functions. So I hope that your shelf building is going well. But oh man, what to talk about? Of course, as a reminder, if you have anything that y'all would like to talk about or have any questions about, whether it be the main campaign or anything else, feel free to send them. I have a couple of questions for all of you. For those of you who were here last week, you may remember I recently obtained several new RPGs. And I would love to know which one the viewers would like to see more as a potential, whether it be I just do something personally or as the group. What would you like to see more of? I can actually start a poll. Can I start a poll? Do I have to press this button? Haha! So, yes, don't worry, Maz, I'm getting to that. I'm not good with electronics, so I'm trying to figure out how polls work again. I've got it set up. Ryan, thank you very much for your compliments, but no. Cameras are not my friends. So I can hold these up again. we've got Cymbarum. I'm still not sure how to pronounce it correctly. This is a darker fantasy RPG focused a lot more on survival and like grimdark horror, based in a gloomy forest and ancient ruins with a bunch of scary things. It has a very interesting system where instead of using like d6s or d8s, it does use a d20. But unlike Dungeons and Dragons, the number that you have in your stat does not give you a bonus to your roll. It instead tells you what the difficulty class is to roll. So if you have a 15 in your strength, you want to roll below a 15 on the d20. Super unique, very interesting in terms of look and character design, whole bunch of cool stuff. So that's the first one. Let me... Okay. Next up, we've got Tales from the Loop. Think very much Stranger Things, based in like E.T. times. It's in the 80s, where you play a bunch of kids and teens going around dealing with horror and aliens, and you've got classes like the Popular Kid and Rocker and a bunch of stuff like that, or the Weirdo and the Troublemaker. Very Stranger Things. That's what I'll say. It's a lot more mystery focused, uncovering clues and figuring out what happened here, and a lot less like combat and fighting and kind of things. So Stranger Things. Then there's Coriolis, the Third Horizon. It is a sci-fi RPG that uses a d6 system. So rolling a 6 counts as a success, and your stats determine the number of d6s that you roll. More d6s equal different effects on your success, and so on and so forth. Think very Firefly, but instead of Western, it is like Arabian Nights. That's the word that I'm looking for. So Aladdin, the Thousand Tales, and so on and so forth. Except in space. So it has kind of a mixture between, there's a lot of horror elements, a lot of obviously sci-fi elements with a very cool vibe, with operatives and sniper rifles and anti-tank things and laser guns and stuff. So there's that. And then there's the old classic, which some of you have seen before if you watched the second season of Between the Rows, which is Vicen. Specifically, this one is Vicen in Mythic Britain and Ireland. We've used it before. If I remember correctly, it uses D8s, I think. Am I right about that? It's been a while, all right? But it has a lot of like folk horror and based in old Ireland and old Britain. And your characters are relatively weak in comparison to these strange, mysterious monsters that prowl, like pixies and terrifying horseman beasts and stuff like that. Now, regardless, you'll see more of Vicen. But if that is specifically what you're looking for, I would love to know, because that tells us kind of the vibe that you like. And I like to know what people want. So the poll has begun. Is it D6s, Lydia? I can't. Oh shoot, duh! I can't. I have the special dice for it that are D6s. Which is the one that uses D8s? Don't we have one of those? I have too many RPGs. That's a lie. I don't have enough RPGs. Yeah, I would love to know your guys' desires as to what you want to see in the future. I'll tell you right now, I plan on doing a lot of... I plan on streaming solo more in the future, just on my own time, on my own channel eventually, once I get the system set up and stuff like that. I would love to run, like, a 6-month campaign of, like, a different RPG, like, once or twice a year. So we'll be... If you keep tuning into here or tuning into whatever I end up doing, you will probably see all of these eventually. I'm really excited for Symbaroum. That is, like, my personal preference, because man, does it fit in well with what I like to do. I love that dark fantasy. I love the grittier survival kind of feel to it. And the system is super unique in that it's still a D20 system using the 7 dice and stuff, but it doesn't mimic Dungeons & Dragons with the way there you, like, add and subtract things. So I'm super excited to play that one just on my own time. But all of these are things that we'll see eventually. So probably. But yeah, I'm excited. Oh man, I'm just excited for too many things, guys. I like too much stuff. I have problems. Also, shout out to Faye for the dice that were sent to me as a gift. Everyone in the cast got dice, but they were rolling hot. Like, holy... I don't think I rolled below, like, a 16 as Abinthy this past episode. It was wild. Like, there was natural 20. I don't roll high. That's, not a thing that I do. Yeah, it was sweet. So, hopefully that continues in the future, because I like not dying. Oh, man. Shoot, now I'm out of stuff to talk about. We're not even fully an hour in. Oh, I should also probably mention, keep an eye out for... Oh, I'm glad to know that you liked it, Ryan. Abinthy's specialty is not in solo combat, but he can hold his own. And let me tell you, I even messed up in that combat. I was thinking about it later, and I realized that there were other things that I could do that I just didn't, and I had misread and forgotten about. So that's one of those things that hopefully I'll smooth out in the future. Lydia, I personally would love to see, if you're going to fight the desk, can we stream it? Because I think that would draw numbers. I think that would be a thing that would be great. Oh, I can probably just talk about... I mean, I can talk about what I know, which is Abinthy. As I mentioned, Abinthy is a war wizard. I'm going to go through just kind of the things that... some of the magic items and cool combos that Abinthy has. Just because I need to fill time, and this is what I know how to do. DJ was kind enough to allow me to use to take the magic item Staff of Power, and apply it to a rapier. So Abinthy's sword cane that he has, which also it's a needle if you look at it, because he's a tailor. It looks like a needle. Staff of Power is a ridiculously good magic item that for some reason is like legendary or something like that, but it is like way higher above where it should be. Hey, Symbaroum, Dark Fantasy, 43%, followed by Coriolis. That's super interesting. So yeah, I may have to work with the group, see if we can do some kind of Symbaroum run through. Ryan, Lydia, the other people who live in the same town as me that I know personally, we may have to do some in-person testing of this game just to see what we can do. Is he a Magic Hollow Knight? Kind of. That's, it's pretty fair. But if you don't know what staff... Oh, Lydia, finish the shelf. Everyone cheer. Staff of Power, what it does. It provides a +2 to attack and damage. It provides a +2 to AC and a +2 to all saving throws. We will be using D&D 5th edition for Between the Rows, Sins of the Father. We will be back to Dungeons & Dragons. There will be a couple of minor changes, I think, just to how the system works, just to kind of change things up. But yeah, it will be based back in Rock Creek, and whenever we are in Rock Creek, that is when we'll be using 5th edition. So if we're outside of the town, then we'll probably be using a different RPG system, just because I like to switch things up. I would love if eventually one of the things that I was known for in the Dungeons & Dragons community was playing games that aren't Dungeons & Dragons. Because I think that there's a lot of really awesome systems out there with a super cool amount of like different things, and in the same way that like you can use Dungeons & Dragons for pretty much anything. You can use the system itself and how the numbers work in whatever way you'd like. There are some ways that it tends to struggle with. I think the analogy that I may have used, maybe even last week, was you can unscrew a Phillips head screw with a flathead screwdriver. It'll work. Will it be as efficient as using a Phillips head screwdriver? Probably not. In the same way, Dungeons & Dragons struggles with mysteries. So you may want to use a more mystery-focused RPG if you want to run a mystery game. A cool kind of concept that I would like to introduce is fully changing the system in the midst of your D&D game. Kind of like, have you ever played a video game where you get to a certain section of the video game and it almost changes into a completely different game just for a little bit? I think that would be an awesome thing to do in a regular D&D 5e campaign, where it's like, most of the time you're delving through dungeons and fighting off beasts and slaying dragons, and then you end up in a town that is just filled with mystery, where it's like, there's nothing to fight here, but there's a plague, or there's people dying. Thanks for the gifted sub, Handskate. That's actually a very good kind of analogy, Ryan, for Nier Automata, where it's like you get to a point of the game where it's like, oh shoot, this is very mystery, and then you change the system from being thank you, Handskate, again for the gifted subs. Shout out to our two kind of newer viewers in chat. Thank Handskate for your subs. Holy cow, Handskate, you've gifted 105 gifted subs in this channel. Wild. But yeah, like, and then it's like, oh shoot, we're using a D6 system. We're using, and for the most part, you don't change anything, but specifically when it involves the mystery aspects of the game, use a different way of discovering those or keeping track of them. And just spice things up, because also it can remove monotony in your games, where it's like, oh, we got to the mystery, roll the investigation, blah 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 blah. Could you imagine you're running through a normal game of Dungeons and Dragons, you get to a town, suddenly your DM pulls out new character sheets, slides them across the table. Suddenly you're playing Call of Cthulhu for two sessions. And then you're back to 5th edition, and everyone's just like, what just happened? Like, that's like I love that kind of stuff. And yeah, and I don't think that it's... I notice a lot in the community. Squished, Ryan. I notice a lot in the community that there's like a discord between people who play Dungeons and Dragons and people who play other RPGs, where you can't like do both. Where it's either you have the people who are like, don't play Dungeons and Dragons, like play other RPGs, support the small creators and stuff like that, and then the other people who are like, why would I ever play a different RPG? Dungeons and Dragons can do anything. And it's like, ¿por qué no los dos? Like, you can do both. Like, I find other games super interesting, but obviously I play 5th edition more often because that's the easiest way to find a community. It's the easiest way to find players. People have heard of Dungeons and Dragons. If I walk up to someone and say, hey, do you want to play Vicen with me? They're going to go, get away from me, you strange hairy man. Like, what are you talking about? And I think that's just a cool thing to do. I think that RPGs are just awesome in and of themselves. And so I'm excited to see new things, and I would love to try them out either on this channel or on my own. If you in the chat, I know that Hanskate has already sent me like a whole list of other RPGs. If anyone else has RPGs that they want me to check out, please send me them. You can send me them over Discord. That would be probably the best and easiest place to do it. Or even just put them in that you don't have to send them to me exactly. You can send them in a channel or something. But please do, because I want more of them. I would love to just fill up a whole shelf. Like, this shelf is a bunch of books that I don't own for the most part, but I would love to just fill up like a whole bookshelf with just RPGs. That would be like my dream. And then who knows how many of them I actually play, but hey, it would be nice to own them because you never know. Maz, please do. As I said, you don't have to ask if to DM me games. I will do what I can. I'm going to briefly go on break, just that way I can start up a call and get Lydia in there. So hold on for just a moment. I will be back shortly. We are back. It's Lydia.
It's me.
Lydia has a little bit of lag. Hopefully that won't be an ongoing trend, because that's the house where we live. So we should probably make sure that that isn't the case. But this is Lydia. How did your shelf building go?
Shelf. It's good. You're on the shelf right now.
I'm on the shelf right now. Nice.
You're on, what, maybe? Shelf.
That's a ridiculously confusing shelf.
Shelf.
So how's your day been today, Lydia?
I almost murdered a shelf.
Nice.
And that's been about it.
Nice. Um, what did you think of? I can go back to the actual main campaign and stuff.
Yeah.
I want to know your thoughts of the last episode.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited that we're back to campaign. I'm really, really, really excited for Agatha.
I'm also.
I'm really excited, like, just to see what our characters are. Because it's like, we kind of see them a little bit, but it's like, there's still so much more. Like, this is only episode 1. Like, we got so much to uncover. And I'm really excited about it. I'm excited for Renaya's stuff to get revealed. I'm excited to see people's reactions with Renaya's stuff.
Well, I know that you mentioned a few things. Mainly, you mentioned Grotz briefly, and apparently that's like not a thing right now for undisclosed reasons.
It's hard to know.
I mean, Edward was like, "Hey, what about you and Grotz?" And you were like, "No."
It's hard to know.
One of my favorite things that you said, I don't know if it was on stream or like sometime other. I think it was on stream. So you're like, "Yeah, Renaya spent a little bit of time in the abyss, maybe too long," and I'm like, what does that mean, Lydia?
There's a lot of things that I'm like, I think you picked up on, Aaron, but I'm happy people picked up on.
It was like I was sitting like on a subway, like on a subway car, and I'm like sitting there, and then the person across from me just like does a backflip and sits back down, and I'm just like, and I'm like looking around at like the other people on the bus, and they're like on their phones or reading a newspaper, and they just don't notice that was totally just a thing that happened. That's what it felt like to me. Like you would be like, yeah, no, this thing, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, did no one else hear what was just said there? And then there's like Grant, he's like, oh yeah, no, that's crazy, it's wild. And then Drew's like, he's just pinging away at the computer, and I'm like, what do you, what?
Yeah, there's a lot of things in there that I dropped.
I want Abinthy and Renaya to talk over the journey in the next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Because, well, first of all, it kind of needs to happen because Abinthy needs to be ingratiated into the party.
Yeah.
So I should probably like have him meet the rest of the cast and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because Renaya's current knowledge of Abinthy is, I saw him once 3 years ago while I was casting Hallow, and he was like, "Hey, what stone do you want your tower made of?" And you were like, "Pink."
Just pink.
And that was the last. That was the last you had ever heard of him. And then he showed up and was like, "Hey, is there anything I can help with?" And you're like, "Who is this person in my house?" And that was the entire conversation. So yeah, I think it would be good to kind of get them to know each other a little bit and get some vibes out there. Mm-hmm. I've got some secret reasons of my own as to why that's also a thing that should probably happen, but
T.
Yeah. T.
Oh, I'm curious. I don't think you're going to be able to share. But there was a part in the episode where Renaya was asking for help with figuring out she's asking Abinthy about the language on Rua.
Mm.
And you had to roll a religion and an arcana check.
Mm.
And then DJ sent you secrets.
So I actually think I mentioned it in the episode. I was like, I don't know if that was super necessary to send as a secret thing, because it wasn't anything wild. It was literally just Abinthy knew of some major events that included rods and maybe this rod itself, that it is very ancient, very powerful, and very important. And that was the majority of the secret, which is like, well, yeah, but they already know that.
Yeah. Okay. T.
So yeah, I'm excited. One of the spells that I took for Abinthy is Legend Lore, which I don't know how much DJ will give me on anything. But once we get to the point where Abinthy is like accepted enough to know, like, oh yeah, we have these like magical artifacts that could end the world, I might be able to get a little bit of information off of those.
Right.
So pretty excited to see that.
Yeah. We talked about it a little bit afterwards, you, Grant, and I, when we got food. But like, I know Grant did as well, but I super appreciated kind of the like intro setup DJ did.
Yes.
With because it got to kind of highlight on really where they are now and how it's changed over time. Because I know Grant was talking about how with Edward, it's like he's still Edward, but matured, and he's got these responsibilities, and he's really taking them seriously.
And there's a lot of things that Edward had done previously that didn't really make sense, but he can do now, and then they have a full purpose and reason.
Right.
Where he's like, I don't want to do this. I have things to do. But this time he actually has things to do.
Yeah.
Like he has a job.
Right. Yeah, and it's like, and it also like showcased what's important to them right now too. Because like with Grant, showcasing Edward, like being like his responsibilities as this like leader and all this is like super important for him. And with Renaya, though, it's still like not a lot covered on like why and things like that. But whatever she's researching is like the most important thing to her, right?
It's kind of obsessed.
A little bit.
Also, Ryan brings up a very important... Also, those of you in the chat, I know that we have a couple of new people. Mickey Joe CGR, my friend Ryan in real life, also streams on Twitch, and you should definitely go follow me. Recently got affiliate. Do that. I almost forgot. But Ryan just brought up a very poignant point, which is Edward's got a beard now.
Edward's got a beard now. That's the first thing I noticed.
Looking hot.
She's like, you have a beard.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm just excited. I'm excited to do a lot of stuff.
I know.
It's gonna be a good one.
I'm so pumped. I'm really curious to see what the kind of story follows in chapter 2.
Oh yeah, I did not expect that we would be going off of Nico Miras. I did not expect that in the least.
Well, and also I'm like, DJ is not super predictable in the story element of stuff. So it's because it's like he's very good about giving you a lot of different paths you can go on. And depending on those paths determine what else happens. He's really good about letting there be options. So I'm very curious to see which option we end up falling down.
So I am interested to know oh, hello. I'm going to call you Verid. That's what I'm going to say. Welcome to chat for the first time. We're super excited to hear that you're catching up on YouTube. Good to have you here for your first time live stream. But yeah, I'm interested. I wonder how DJ expected us to get to Sigil in the first place. Like, I don't know if going back to the tiny and inhabited island was the original plan, because I don't have access to Plane Shift. That's a 7th level spell. We're only at what, level 12?
12, yes.
12, so I don't have that. No one does. I don't know how he expected us to get there, unless that was the original plan at the start, or if he had some other thing that maybe one of us had a piece of information that we knew and just forgot.
Yeah. I felt so bad because I remember after DJ told us that we had heard of Lex before, I remembered that we had gotten the Lex information. There was just so much information that all of us had forgotten about.
So this is the best thing for me. Abinthy doesn't know any of that, so if I forget, it doesn't matter. Because I don't have Trax notes that I totally took.
Long. I was like, I could not. There was no way I was going to remember that. But yeah, that was funny too. It was so much. We were just like, I don't remember this.
So, I had mentioned previously to a couple of members of the Discord that I have actually posted art of my character before they knew who Abinthy was on the Discord before. And I completely forgot that I had said that. I had actually posted art of Abinthy twice. The first one is young Abinthy. Actually, the first one I posted was old Abinthy, and then I posted young Abinthy later. But I'm going to repost those now.
Yeah!
Because I can do that.
I always feel so pressure when I draw Aaron's characters.
Why?
Well, because, so, Drew, as long as it, looks cool, Drew loves it.
Yeah.
Right. Grant is super nitpicky about details and things like that. But, ultimately, the bigger pieces are kind of, up to me. Just fine-tunes it. And then with you don't necessarily, give details. You give details to the character and, what the character, specific features of the character and things like that are super important. But a lot of it is just a very specific vibe.
I probably gave more details to you for Tripwits than I do for almost any other piece of art, which is sad.
Your characters presented, not necessarily how they look.
Yes.
And that I always get stressed because I always want to make sure I nail it.
I mean, you absolutely did. First off, Abinthy looks incredible in the new art. I'm trying to find... there he is. There's the boy. Young and old.
But yeah, I really enjoyed getting to do the art. Renaya's I did again 1,000,000 times.
Yeah. There's a funny time where we were like, Lydia, we can't pay you for all this art of Renaya.
I'm like, you guys don't have to pay me for Renaya. Renaya, I know I'm gonna do 1,000,000 times, but because that was last time too. The last time I had to draw Renaya's official character art, I had to draw it. I had 10 different versions. Yep. And then the thing with this Renaya was I had 10 different outfit ideas. And I settled on one, and I got through it all, and I really loved it. And then I met with DJ, and we figured out backstory things over the year. Oh, this doesn't fit anymore. Scrap that. Start over. Then I went through 3 more designs of that, landed on one, had to make revisions to it because of further backstory stuff DJ and I figured out. And then we got the last details of Renaya's stuff at the last minute, and I was like, this doesn't work. And I went after.
Oh, I think that we should absolutely mention a new a cute, marketable NPC has joined the gang in the form of Thimble, or Tim, as Tripwitz calls him. So one of the things that I focused on when I was making Tripwitz is I don't want to step on anyone else's shtick, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, everyone kind of has it, like, I don't want to take spells from Edward. I don't want to take, like, weapon attack stuff from either Edward or, like, Cather, who I thought that Drew would be playing at the time. I don't, and one of the big things for Renaya was, like, Renaya has the NPCs. You've got Pockets. You, at one point in time, had Grotst. You've got, Malice. I'm like, I need to step around these NPCs kind of deal. So Thimble, which is a crochet weasel, that is Abinthy's familiar, is just, it's not sentient. It doesn't have a personality. I'm like, it's cute. And at some point in time, we could theoretically sell merch of it. That's the point of Thimble. Will not be applied in combat. Will nothing. The only time we'll see Thimble is for comedic effect and as basically a third hand to be like, help Abinthy sew something, or you saw him pick up the sheath of Abinthy's sword and carry it away from the battle so no one trips on it. That's Thimble. Am still excited to see Pockets interact with Thimble, and then Thimble's just like there, like just a stuffed animal because he hasn't been told to do anything yet. Maz, you are correct. Thimble is absolutely a glorified mage hand that also has camera capabilities. that's Thimble. Sometimes, because unlike Pockets, Thimble can't turn invisible, and a crochet weasel sticks out like a sore thumb. So scouting with Thimble is not really going to be a thing that Thimble does. But Thimble would be capable of, like, maintaining watch. And just at night and helping out with that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to see Pockets be like, a threat, and Thimble's like, and that's what I'm excited for. It's just too many cute. So fun. Could you imagine? Oh my goodness, we can finally do it. We can finally have it happen. Oh, Cather Drew needs to get on this. Drew needs to get an NPC. Because Edward has Find Familiar. He hasn't used it yet, but he has it.
I have Ginger with Cather.
You have what? Oh yeah, Ginger with Cather. We've got Pockets with you. We've got Thimble with me. Edward uses Find Familiar. We've got a familiar one-shot. We've got it. Which is funny because in this situation, Thimble just kind of is drug around like a limp rag by the rest of the group.
I'd love to play Pockets, like, as like in a game. That would be so fun.
But yeah.
Or, like, what if I ran it and DJ got to play Pockets, like, full on?
Like, the whole time? I'm in, dog. Thimble doesn't speak. Unlike all of the other familiars, Thimble is just there. I don't talk the whole game. I don't do anything. I'm just kind of present. Sometimes I, like, pick up something.
Oh my god.
They're like, Thimble, pull the lever. And Thimble's like... He just doesn't do anything for, like, 3 minutes. But, like, you never see Thimble move. Like, you look, and Thimble's just laying there, and then you turn away and you look back, and Thimble's closer. Thimble's a rogue, for sure. A thief rogue, able to use an object as a bonus action.
Yes.
Thimble, in a nutshell.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm excited. There's so many new and fresh things that we've got going on. I'm excited to see it all.
I'm also excited for Pockets to see Edward. That'll be, because Pockets hasn't been summoned.
Has their relationship furthered? Has distance made the heart grow fonder for Pockets?
Look, all I'm saying is Sam better watch out.
Also, this is another thing I love. Before the break and before the time skip, there was Tiala. Tiala has just not been mentioned. And it's great, because that definitely means that they're not together, which I don't think any of us supported. But like, that's going to be such a great little thing. I hope that Grant just doesn't say anything. I hope that we're like, hey, Edward, whatever happened to Tiala? And he's like, didn't work out, and then just leaves. I hope that's the whole conversation. Like, we're like, was it bad? And Trippets is like, it's better if you just leave it. Like, it would just be easier. It's not anything big. It's just, it would just be better.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm excited for Tripwitz to become because at the moment he basically seems like a butler, which for Edward makes sense as to why why Tripwitz has so easily been kind of ingrained in Edward's daily life, because he like grew up with a butler. He's not a butler. Like, he's like a nice guy, and he's like been trying to like hang out with Edward and stuff, but when that realization finally hits, I think it'll be pretty cool. Oh, yeah. Ha ha.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm excited too. I have no idea when Renaya stuff is gonna reveal itself. No. I hope sooner than later, just because, for my sanity's sake.
5 months. 5 straight months of no information.
Bro, no. I'd die.
We're not even gonna talk to Renaya for 5 straight months.
Yeah.
No. Nope, not a word. And then one person is going to be like, hey, Renaya, and you're going to be like, I killed God. Just, like, you haven't even asked, and they're like, I was wondering if you wanted salt or sugar. God.
One of my favorite parts was Renaya and Leshka were talking, and they were going back and forth about trying to figure out, like, who they can find that can, like, discuss this language. And Leshka starts talking about Cather's gods. It's like, oh, Adaria, yeah, that's the one. And then it's like, oh, yeah, her. Like, they've never really been a fan of me, and they're definitely not a fan of me now. And you and Grant both go. Favorite. I love when you and Grant react to stuff I say together.
So Grant and I have the best silent relationship, because we don't have to say anything. We can, like, sense what the other person is doing through the internet. And it's the worst, because even when I'm not doing anything, Grant can sense that my brain is going, we should super do a bit here. And so that sets Grant off, because, like, DJ will say something, and the first time DJ said something, I was like, Grant dies. Everyone notices. I'm like, that's enough. We got to get through this. The next time DJ says the same thing, I don't move a muscle. And I can see Grant look at me, like, make eye contact through the internet. And Grant just starts dying. And I'm like, I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
I was talking with Grant yesterday, and he was talking about how it's like one of his favorite things with, like, his dynamic with me on stream is that there will be like jokes, like the perfect setup for a joke, and like sometimes he'll grab it kind of deal, and then there'll be sometimes where he's like he sees the set and it's like nah, I'll leave that one, and then he's like, and then immediately you grab it.
Yep. It's oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Grant is a riot.
Our jokes are the best, but um, but yeah, I was really excited too that you guys caught that one.
Mm-hmm. I got several. It's strange. I'll like catch those are the ones that Grant doesn't read me. When like you'll say a thing and I'll like flip out and Grant gives me a weird like
Mm-hmm.
why are you breaking out right now, bro? And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
did you not just hear that? What are you talking about? Yeah, I'm excited.
We're cool.
We are pretty cool. All you losers out there. Yeah. Much stuff. I'm gonna have to take plane shift now. That was not originally in the plan for Triple Wits.
Yeah, now you have to.
So that sucks. You know what other is it's like I could be taking Crown of Stars right now. And instead I'm having to take
know what
plane
else
shift.
sucks?
Huh. Tell me about it.
Because otherwise, Grotz would have our back.
It's true. Look, next time you should continue suffering a potentially toxic relationship for the benefits that it gives other people.
That's not the situation, and I'm so excited for you to find out what the situation is.
I kind of hope that Grotz is just dead. Like, what a turn. Could you imagine the Shyamalan twist?
I would kill DJ.
No, but could you imagine we're just like, oh, it's similar to that. You probably haven't seen it, but there's a show called Jack Reacher, and at the start of the show, Jack Reacher is like, and you had a wife and she left you, blah 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 blah, and then like halfway through the show, he realizes that was like the one thing he's wrong, and he's like, the guy's like, no, Jack, my wife is dead. And could you imagine that's this whole time we're like, so what happened between you and Grotz? And you're like, I just don't want to talk about it. 5 months later, you're like, he's dead, okay? He's dead. We're like, oh my god. Oh, I thought you just like broke up or something. Or like, I don't know, that he was like on a long extended break and you were like, or like he like cheated on you or something and he's dead? Like, what a twist that would be.
I'd quit.
It would be wild, Lydia.
I'm just be done.
Oh man, that would just be crazy. Shout out to Dead Grotz.
No.
That's my headcanon now. Since I don't know your secrets, my headcanon, Grotz is just dead. Aaron's headcanon. I'll still have to figure it out in game, but it's oh man, I want to know. And the other thing is sometimes I can't tell when you have a secret or it's just a thing, like you'll just say things in a way that it's like, for example, you're like, well, I don't think that we'll see Lotta much, and I'm like,
yeah,
what happened to Lotta?
Well,
Is
nothing
she
happened.
dead? What did you have like a falling out?
Is that music? No.
And you're like, well, no, it's just I just don't expect to see her much. And I'm like, but how can I date everyone's mom if I don't see Lotta?
You'll find a way.
It's true. I will find a way.
I mean, you can always date my cult mom.
¿Por qué no los dos, Lydia? Why not both? Look, all I'm saying is that every member of the party has a hot mom. And Abinthy's in the right age range to capitalize. Like,
oh. No.
I know that there are people on my side here. Right?
I are too, and I'm not.
We've got oh geez, Edward's mom,
Niefendale.
Patricia. Uh, I can't even remember her name. Niefendale. We've got Lotta. We've got your cult mom, who's probably still alive. Edward's, or not, I already mentioned Edward's mom, but she definitely deserves a second mention. Catherine's mom. Catherine's dad. What was that?
You haven't met Catherine's mom.
Look, you've met Cather, and you know that by the transitive property of addition, Cather's mom has to be hot.
But Catherine's mom is complicated, remember?
Nope.
Because he's not actually...
Well, yeah, they're not, like, related. But come on, you've seen the rest of his family.
True, and I mean, if art was ever to be made, I'd have to make it, and I can only be people.
And shoot, Cather has two moms too. Well, Cather has his elf mom and his drow mom.
True.
And the drow are a matriarchal society, so she's got to be pretty high up there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, this is the power play of the century.
I don't like this.
I don't want to be here doing this. That's right. I'd like to. My favorite thing is that Ladward has gained traction.
No, look. Hands and masks don't count.
They absolutely count.
No.
The Ladward community. We need to start a subreddit of Ladward. Yeah, I will become... Look, everyone in the party has daddy issues. Abinthy can solve that.
What you're doing? You're doing Abinthy's one shot after this, right?
Yep. In roughly 30-ish minutes.
How are you feeling about that?
It's actually more like 45. I have no idea what's going to happen. I have a general idea of the time when it will happen.
That'd be awkward if he died.
If Abinthy died, it would be pretty rough. What if I'm just playing a doppelganger of Abinthy?
What if you pulled a me and you get KO'd?
Yeah, just get yeeted in the first one shot. But yeah, basically all I know about this one shot is I was like, DJ was like, hey, what would you kind of like for the one shot? Like, do you have combat, not combat? And I was like, well, I don't know about combat. If there's no combat, fine. If there is combat, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
This is the time over the past 3 years that I would like it to take place.
Mm-hmm.
And the general order of the one shot could go this, mm-hmm. or any arrangement of those three things. Other than that, go wild. And he goes, okay, so I can do whatever I want. I go, yep. So I have no idea. I'm severely unprepared. I am still somewhat unsure of what exactly Abinthy's turns look like in combat.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Oh no. What are you thinking? What are you aiming for with Abinthy as far as like the future of the campaign? Like, do you have kind of a role you want him to? I don't know how to word this. Like, so how are you wanting Abinthy to be different than Turak?
So in terms of combat usability, I'll start there because that's what I know best. Abinthy will be a kind of a switch support ADC, where he has a lot of capability to move other people and enemies, as well as provide buffs and debuffs, but also can just pull out some kind of wacky damage out of nowhere, while also my main goal is for him to just not be a hindrance in terms of, oh god, Abenthy's almost dead again. Yeah, so in combat, his goal is to just not die and do good things. So
that's a good goal.
Kind of there. I think that in terms of like role play, I think that he will be actually kind of similar to Tarak in some ways, in a lot of the ways that he interacts with party members. I want him to still be able to provide that like kind of good, almost like fatherly advice kind of stuff, except unlike Tarak, who didn't have the life experience to back it up, Abenthy's been alive for a while, so he can actually be like, yeah, no, I've encountered this and I've done that, and I know how that feels. So he can kind of relate to like characters emotionally rather than just, ah, yes, don't worry, you'll make it through this. And then they're like, how do you know? And he's like, I don't. Which was a very Tarak thing. Like, I just kind of assume you'd do it. Abenthy has a lot of stuff that he needs to work through too. Which part of that relating is going to be Abenthy dealing with his own problems as well. And Abenthy has a bit of a debt to pay that I hope that he will pay throughout the rest of the campaign. And I think that he can also be kind of a teacher in a lot of ways. I know personally how Tripritz's story ends in a way, like not up until death, but I know that what he does after this campaign. Like he's a very proficient magic user, and that's like all he does. So for Edward, he can be a very good like arcane teacher. He can relate to Renai in a lot of ways because Malice is a god of the arcane and you are an arcana cleric. Cather, I expect him and Cather, assuming that Cather shows back up, to be like rivals but friends in some ways. And then Leshka and him will get along, but in the weirdest way, where Abenthy's like, I don't want to, you're kind of a nerd, and I don't want to talk to you. But like, also, you're the only one that I can kind of relate to, so I probably should. And I think that because Leshka, it was seen a little bit in this past episode where Tripitz is like, do I know you? And Leshka's like, I don't know. Your name sounds familiar. And he's like, well, I travel.
The way I see Leshka and Abenthy is it's like they're literally the same text. Like it's the same sentence. But Leshka is in Comic Sans and Abenthy is in Times New Roman.
Yeah, that's actually pretty fair.
Like that's how I visualize them.
Yeah. So one of the things that Abenthy has right now is you've seen it some. Abenthy is very, very well traveled. He has been pretty much all over the planet, and for various reasons. But he doesn't super want it to be known how much he's done in terms of actual like action or things that he's done in the past. So he's fine with letting people know that he's traveled, but he's done some stuff. Like at the moment he's a 12th level like adventurer. Like he's very proficient in a lot of ways. And he kind of wants to keep that hidden for a little bit. And just kind of downplay who he is and what he's done. But that will definitely be seen at some point in time. Probably not until we have definitely found Cather, however long that takes. Probably not until he's at least pretty well ingrained in the party is when he'll kind of start to reveal some of the stuff that he's done. Maybe a little bit more. He'll allude to it. I might allude to it in this next episode in some conversation with Renaya. But we'll just have to.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have a role play conversation with Avonlea, because it's like I loved our role play conversations between Renaya and Tarak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited to see the differences and similarities
between the two of them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like, and there will be a lot of similarities in that. I mean, it's still played by the same person.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to experiment and kind of dig around with how, and it'll be awkward for me because once again, I've only played this character for one episode, and you've played Renaya for like 71 episodes plus some.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, it's like throwing a baby to the lion's den and being like, get along, figure it out, child. So yeah, I'm excited to see a lot of stuff, do some things, do some stuff and things. Oh man, he can do some cool stuff, Lydia. I'm a combat nerd when it comes to D&D. God dang, I can do some stuff, Lydia. I got some stuff.
See, I'm excited. I'm excited with my cool stuff, but a lot of my cool stuff is not combat oriented.
Yeah, well, that's like who we are as people.
I know, but even like it's features and abilities I have, but they're better for out of combat.
Yo, hold on, Lydia.
What?
Maz dropping bombs.
You gotta tell me what you find.
D&D 5.5e Black Citadel? It's coming in 2024.
Okay.
A new set of core rulebooks, likely updated editions of Player's Handbook, DM's Guide, and Monster Manual. Backwards compatible. Interesting. This is super. For those of you who are just who have no idea what we're talking about, D&D apparently just confirmed Dungeons & Dragons 5.5, which is super cool for me. Interesting.
I'll have to look at it after we're done.
Yeah, shoot. Sorry, I'm distracted. But yeah, I'm interested. I mean, some of it looks like very standard stuff that makes sense, and some of it we've actually already seen in like Tasha's and the Monsters of the Multiverse and everything, where they're removing a lot of the predetermined things when it comes to characters. So now the general ruling, the rules as written, is when you pick a race, you can choose to add +2 to one stat and +1 to another one, or +1 across 3 different stats. Instead of every race having a like, oh, this race is good at strength or wisdom and stuff. Ooh. The alert feat has also been tweaked to add your proficiency bonus to your initiative roll instead of a +5 flat bonus. Interesting. They've changed feats and stuff. It's just in general, they've released like a preview kind of deal of what's all going on. Changing stuff. Super interesting. Oh, that's one thing about Tripwits. Tripwits has the alert feat. I get a +13 to initiative
I know. It's like I've had the alert feed at like the higher levels. It's crazy.
I've got a +5 from alert. I've got a +5 from being a war wizard.
Mm.
And I have a +3 from my dex. So I'm I'm going first.
You're going.
This is what I'm doing. My only sadness is that I chose to play a human instead of a herringgone, which can add their proficiency to their initiative bonus. Serious mistake on that one. Blew it hard. I want to play a herringgone so bad. They're the
Yeah.
rabbit people.
Yeah.
They're so cool.
They're fun.
Oh my goodness. I didn't get to talk about this a whole lot when I was talking about Monsters of the Multiverse. They just in general made things cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like
there's a lot of cool things in there. Yeah.
they changed a bunch of stuff, which I hope is a overall change for a lot of things. Where instead of it being related to a ability score or a once per day thing, they just in general made it you can use this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, which is just like a duh. Like, why haven't they just? I've been using this for years, and I'm not an executive at Wizards of the Coast, but like it just makes sense, and it just makes things better. And I think that's there's so many cool little races that I want to try now. I want to do stuff with, and I don't have enough games to play them in.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, Herringgone's getting a bonus to their initiative. I want to play a Herringgone Ranger and go Scout, I think. Add proficiency, get the alert feat, +5, get the Ranger thing that lets you add your wisdom, and have like a +20 to initiative. Be like, yes, here I am. And then maybe go into Rogue. So that way, if I go Thief Rogue, I can take 2 turns, but I have to get pretty high for that. I don't know. I'm just thinking of the opportunities. All right, I'm thinking of combos. But yeah, there's Dungeons & Dragons changing. It's being great. People talk a lot of smack about Dungeons and Dragons in a lot of different ways, but overall, I think that it's pretty all right.
I think it's fun.
I think it's pretty good.
I do have a question for you. So, are you be like ending this stream and then starting a new one for that Infinity One Shot?
I don't think we'll end the stream. I'll probably just go to a break, change the title, and then we'll have like a 15-minute break in between table scraps and the one shot. I don't think that I have it'll probably still be using the table scraps screen, because unlike Drew, I don't have a whole bunch of cool things to use.
I don't think we have a special overlay for that. But do you want to do that, or do you want to make it 2 separate ones so then we have the VODs separated?
That is a good question, because it would be easier to just do it that way. See, this is why we have questions like this. This is why you're here, Lydia. Probably is smarter to do the like two stream thing. That's probably the smarter thing to do. Just so the VODs are easier to break apart.
And then that way people can come back and watch just that and see what were the table scraps.
Yeah. So I'll probably just end stream quick and then restart it up with a starting soon stream, because that'll still separate into 2 VODs, right?
Yes.
If I just end stream and then start stream again?
Yeah.
Okay. Because let me tell you, I don't trust all y'all to not ditch me immediately. I'm looking at you. You know who you were thinking, that'll give me a really good opportunity to get out of here. Oh, man. Oh, thank goodness. No. Don't. Don't leave. Be there. Be square.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's the plan.
I'm excited. I'm gonna be listening. I got more house stuff to do, so I'm gonna be lurking.
Oh man, I'm excited to play a one shot with a super trashed voice.
Am I allowed to though?
Allowed to what?
Like watch the one shot?
I mean,
No one can stop me.
yeah, I'm not gonna complain. I don't think that it'll be anything that you as the Lydia do not already know.
Okay.
Then again, it might be, and I'll ask DJ before we like start streaming. Like, hey, are players allowed to watch this? And then we will say at the start if you're not allowed to watch it, in which case I expect you to keep the stream on to add a viewer and then just mute it.
Fine.
Get out of here.
Fine. But
I have very clappable hands. I know that I've mentioned this to you.
I have very not.
My hands are so clappable. Like, they just make good noises.
Bones. I'm my own drum.
No bones about it. Get over it.
I don't have another shelf to build, but I have a desk I could start building, as well as a bed I could start building. But I don't want to finish either, because they both are going to be big and need to be in the room.
Yeah, we need to be able to... I suppose I could ask whether or not we could start moving in this evening.
From what I was like looking up, I mean, you can double check with Tim because I don't know what Tim used, but it usually takes like 48 hours before you can start doing like furniture.
The can that he had
walk on, like 36 to 48 to actually put furniture back
for like heavy movement. I know that he told me that the can he used said 24 hours. But I'm not sure if that's for light or heavy.
Do you know if he left the can here? Otherwise, I can look at it.
I don't know.
Probably not. Probably took it with him. Because it's his. Like an adult.
Yep.
But I want to show off my shelf again. Can I?
You can.
I worked so hard. Dude, I was so mad at this shelf because it gave me the wrong instructions. I followed the instructions exactly, and the things were labeled wrong. But then I figured it out and I fixed it.
I'm so proud
of you. I injured my finger.
Can you stop injuring your hands, Lydia?
No. Oh gosh.
The whole shelf just falls apart as you turn around.
Falls on me. There's a shelf, and it's got a bunch of cool, like, layered things. Dude, I worked so hard on this.
You see, that I couldn't do it. I would not get that shelf because of the layered shelves.
It's so cool, though.
That's like so not. We have, so just so you know, our house has so many windows.
This is my room.
Yeah. Huge windows everywhere. Literally, we don't have to have lights on during the day because the windows are like 360 encompassing everywhere in the house. Yeah,
we got a lot
of windows. But yeah, I'm excited to.
And then this is my chair.
Yes. Lydia got a chair recently.
I made a chair. I didn't like make it from scratch.
Welded the metal together. Whoa. Lydia's dead. Lydia has died.
Hey, sorry about that. Hold on.
Wait.
No.
God. It reminds me of the days of yore. When when we just had so many camera problems. Back when Ryan was like using his phone as a camera. Good times.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well,
it's almost time.
It is almost time. Are you excited?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm always excited to play D&D. Did you put in your preference for the poll earlier in the thing? What did you vote for? I want to know.
Bison.
I knew you would. You've talked to me recently. Like, I want to play more Bison.
I love Bison.
It's a good game, dude. Yeah. Got a lot of things in plan. Also, we should just plug it anywhere that we can. Previously, we had been talking about doing duo shots to kind of get back into the campaign and stuff. Those duo shots will still happen, but not everyone will get to see them. Sorry about it. But if you are a Patreon member, they will be eventually released on Patreon. And then after a certain amount of time, they will be released to subscribers through our Discord. So if you aren't a subscriber or you aren't a patron, then sorry, bud.
Get over there.
Get on it.
Come on.
And if you want the early access stuff, that's for patrons. But eventually it will come to subscribers as well. And you better be in the Discord if you're a subscriber, because if not, you're not gonna see it. Loser. I believe it'll be between. You're not a loser, but I believe it'll be Lydia and Drew, our one duo, and then me and Grant are the other duo, playing our characters for chapter 2. So, pretty excited for that nonsense.
Yeah.
Lydia, I've got like 10 minutes.
Well, do you take a long time with the end of announcement things?
Oh yes, Ryan has a very solid thing. He's got that Amazon Prime. That's just a free subscription to Twitch, which you could just throw a direction. But remember, it doesn't auto sub, so you need to be here at least once a month to re-input that Amazon Prime nonsense. Use that Prime plug. Get in there. So
use it.
Send Jeff Bezos your money. But yeah, Amazon Prime, pretty sick. Shout out to Twitch Prime. It's great. I'm gonna really slowly go through plugs for 10 minutes.
Oh, you do that? I'm gonna unbox a mirror.
First off, we have social medias. TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Keep an eye out for our TikTok because Lydia is restarting up the regular posts.
I did post one.
Ooh, like recently?
Yeah.
Like today?
Like yesterday.
Oh, like yesterday. So TikToks are coming back up. Living the dream on that one. I know a lot of you probably found us off of TikTok, so shout out to y'all. We have a website, www.thepaperdungeon.com. Don't use the link in Twitch because let me tell you, we misspelled the word dungeon. Kind of blew that one. Everyone yell at Grant for it because it's definitely Grant's fault.
And it's been like that for a long time.
For like 2 years.
We only recently learned.
Yep. So we'll do our best to fix that when we can. Speaking of stores, the wonderful Lydia Corinne has a store.
I do.
Where she sells her own art on shirts and pillows, and such, and also has a commission wait list that you could be on and get some art of your D&D character commissioned, or NPCs and stuff. I know that Lydia has done some art for some pretty big names in the industry and is a pretty big name herself, and you could be like them.
Yeah, pay me.
Pay me money. Lydia needs to pay rent.
Please.
So she needs those commissions.
Please pay me.
Lydia's getting crushed by a tiny mirror. How you doing there, Lydia?
I'm doing great. I can't open this. It's stuck on my hand.
That's not good. That would be good content, Handskade. Just breaking the mirror live on stream. It just shatters.
That would make me really sad.
Especially after we made it all the way to the house with a microwave on top of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got other plugs probably. If you want to support us in other ways, you can. We have a Streamlabs donation button. We have Patreon. We have Ko-fi. The easiest way, of course, to support us is to just tell your friends about us and be like, hey, it's free, and go watch them. They're good at Dungeons and Dragons and are funny people and stuff. You can watch Lydia unbox a mirror live on stream.
I did it.
Also, if you want to send us stuff, we are still working on our like Amazon wishlist kind of deals. But Grant has a P.O. box. Yes, Lydia? It sounds like you have a thing. What?
Nothing.
Oh, Lydia has just discovered how to hide using a mirror. Like a child. But Grant has a P.O. box, so stop over by Grant's stream on Twitch, his page on Twitch. He streams as well. He does a lot of Minecraft, and he's recently been playing Fortnite. He sent out a tweet like last night that he got his first Vic Royale. I wanted to drive to his house and stab him. He was like, yeah, just got my first Vic Royale last night, followed by 9 others. And I'm like, you're playing against like 8-year-olds, dude. Like, like, what are you doing with your life? But check out Grant's stream. He's a riot. And yeah, he has the P.O. box over there. We'll work on doing something else maybe eventually. But for now, if you want to do that, if you want to take advantage of that, you certainly can. Do we have any? I feel like I'm forgetting something that we do all the time. I mean, shout out to the YouTube and podcast people. Y'all are great. It's hard to know that you're around. That it's easier for the YouTube because there's like comments and stuff. But for the podcast, stop on by live streams for sure and tell us where you're from. In the Discord, we've had a couple people that are like, "Hey, found you off of podcasts." I found a couple podcasts because of them that I've recently started listening to. Yeah, we want to know where you're from and how you're doing and what you're doing. We love all of the statistics. Discord, we have it. If you're not in it, be in it. What are you doing with your life? Shout out to Squirrels for being like cool and whatever. I'm just going to call it here. I think I'm out of plugs. It's been a blast streaming today. Don't go anywhere. What's going to happen is I'm going to end the stream and then start the stream. So that way we have 2 separate VODs. And then we can, it'll be about 15 minutes, so around 3:45 Central Standard Time when we start the one-shot. Go be there. It's going to be super fun. I'm really excited to play Triplets. Don't go anywhere. But I think the only things that I have left to say are good luck and Godspeed, everyone. We will see you next time, Dungeoneers. It's been a blast. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.